5x5, right? Love it. All right, good morning, traders. Today's December 19th. Christmas is just around the corner. My name, Coach Carignan. All right, I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's the day trading service for the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for subscribing to my content, following my content, liking my content. And a big special shout out goes to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted for sharing the content. Love that. Helping get the good word out there, helping the community grow. I love that. I really, really appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I think I got a few announcements this morning, so let's get going here. All right, let's see what we got on the agenda. Okay, holiday hours. Okay, I think the rooms are going to be open. It says they're closed. Don't quote me on this, all right, but I think the rooms will be open. There won't be any moderators in there. Okay, so we won't see any trading or anybody moderating. Okay, in the room. All right, but I think they'll be open. All right. And anyway, so we're taking off, okay? So that goes from Christmas Eve, well, right on up through Christmas Day, and then the Friday, and then the whole weekend. So we'll see you on Monday when we get back. Same thing goes for New Year's Eve, okay? New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, all right, and the Friday after it, okay? All the way up until Monday when we get back, all right? So those are our holiday hours, and I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, okay, I'm in favor of it as long as, you know, your deity is for goodness, all right, okay, nothing evil, all right, so all of you out there, this is the season, I love everybody, okay, so I don't care what religion you practice, as long as it's for good, I'm in favor of it, all right, so thank you, all right. All right, let's get going. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 677.75. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. IWM and FNGU made inside days. That's a lower high and a higher low. Okay, so they made closing below bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. SPY and QQQ made inside days. Same thing, lower high, higher low. Closing inside bearish traps under the 17 EMA. Diamond Dow made a lower low and a lower high. Closing under a bearish cross. That means the 3 crossed down under the 8, but over the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, not a very convincing uptrend. Very little daylight left in that. And a weak 10-minute downtrend. 1 candle downtrend. Okay, so gold and silver made lower highs and lower lows. Closing over bullish traps over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend made an inside day, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. UNG in a daily downtrend made an outside day, so that's a higher high and a lower low. Okay, that's an outside day, and closed under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a downtrend. We love that, all right, as investors, all right, and traders. Close near the 98.45 area. Today's SPY max pain is 680 with a put to call ratio of 3.2 puts for each call. So there is a put squeeze on the table. We'll see what happens. Not to mention, max pain is 680, supposedly. We'll go take a look at that too. Okay, so that expires today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15 and the security options expire at 4. All right, so let's take a look at the markets this morning. Okay, let's take a look at what happened mainly yesterday. Okay, see how we closed yesterday. We'll start off in the beginning. Okay, so what did we have? We had just a big waffle. See the dips in there. See the cavities to hold the syrup. All right, so big waffle. That's what we had yesterday. Okay, waffle, big waffle. All right, big grooves to hold all the syrup in your waffle. All right, so we gapped up. Bears didn't fill the gap. That's a clue. Okay, we gapped up. Bears did not fill the gap. That's a big clue right there. Okay, 10-minute chart. We were going in a little 10-minute uptrend right here, and then that last candle came down and closed below it. Okay, so that right there, all right, is a weak one candle downtrend. That's what I'm going to call that. A weak one candle downtrend. Okay, so got a little downtrend line right through here, and you can see we're on the other side of it. That's bullish. Okay, the fact that we got on the other side of that. We are over, so this is the breakup rally. Okay, so we're over. This is the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so we're still above the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so now my favorite trade, all right, in case you don't know it, I'm going to share it. All right, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside a daily uptrend, that resides inside a weekly uptrend, that resides inside the monthly uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's my favorite trade. Okay, so I got all the bigger time frames pushing my little 10-minute uptrend higher, further, make it last longer. All right, so that's my favorite trade right there, because everything is in an uptrend on the bigger time frames. So this might be a good opportunity today. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute, weak, one candle 10-minute downtrend. Really, just a whole lot of consolidation right through there. Okay, a lot of consolidation, but kind of bullish because look, we're up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, and look, all right, bears never filled the gap yesterday. We'll see what happens. We start closing candles underneath here, all right, 10-minute candles, multiple 10-minute candles on the air, then I got to say we're probably going to go fill gap, okay? Failure to do that, I'm going to say we're probably going to bounce along here for a little while, maybe even come back up to 680 and higher. We'll see what happens. That's the 10-minute chart. 2-hour chart. And here's the 3 EMA. This is the yellow line. That's the 3 EMA. Okay, so the 3 EMA climbed on top yesterday of the white line. That's the 8 EMA. So we have a weak 2-hour uptrend. Okay, very little daylight. See that in there? Very little daylight, but we're showing a lot of tails, so that is encouraging for the bulls. All right, so week 2-hour uptrend. Okay, so we like that. All right, on the daily candle, remember it was an inside day. Okay, so lower high, higher low. We closed. Okay, inside. See the 3 under the 8 inside a bearish trap. All right, see the dots? Well, this one's red because we're under it. So we closed under the 17 EMA, but inside the bearish trap. We'll see what happens today. So there's SPY on the daily chart. Okay, so we haven't broken anything yet. Okay, we haven't made any lower lows. All right, so we're still in an uptrend. We're just experiencing a 5-candle pullback right now. Okay, still in an uptrend. All right, we haven't broken any lows. We'd have to break this low in order to convert the uptrend into a downtrend. Right now, we're in an uptrend. Okay, ever since we took out, see that high right there? We negated the downtrend that we were in right through here because we made a higher high, and now we're in an uptrend. So now we have to take out this low to negate the uptrend and convert the downtrend. So let's look at where we are. This is the April low down here, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, okay? Anything in the upper third, that's bullish for me. And we're in an uptrend, so we're still bullish and in an uptrend right there. See that? April low, top of quadrant 4, bullish and in an uptrend right there. Okay, so there's SPY. All right, we'll look at the weekly chart. Okay, see all the green dots. Okay, so still bullish and in an uptrend right there on the monthly chart. Okay, see all the green dots. Okay, top of quadrant 4. Okay, this is the pullback low, April low. Okay, top of quadrant 4, still bullish, still in an uptrend on SPY. Okay, let's go look at the game plan. All right, on the game plan for today. Okay, so here we are. Okay, we've got red erases green underneath 675. Okay, so we get down below 675. That is a red erases green entry down there. Okay, closing candles down there. That would be an entry. Okay, so pivot 677.75. Again, above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, green erases red entry over. See those wicks up there? We get on top of those wicks. That's a green erases red entry over 680.75. We'll see what happens. All right, so I like, here's the downtrend line. See this? See how we're breaking the downtrend line? See this downtrend? I'll crank it up so you guys can see it's barely visible. Who does that? Okay, so there's our downtrend line. Okay, so see this? We're on the other side. Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Now that we're on the other side, we got to make a higher low and a higher high. Okay, that's task number 1. Okay, after breaking through the downtrend is make the higher low and a higher high. Haven't done that yet. Notice this is a high. That's an equal high. Okay, so we have not made the higher high yet. Okay, got to make a higher low and a higher high. We haven't done it yet. Okay, so that'd be job number 1 for today. Okay, so that's SPY on the game plan. Okay, so I like 7 days till expiration, 14 days till expiration, Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest, okay? More open interest equals higher liquidity, all right? I want a nice tight bid-ask spread, all right? That's what I like. I don't want a lot of slippage if I have to have my stop gets triggered. I don't want to see a lot of slippage. All right. I like strikes. I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. They're much cheaper. But let me just say the delta is lower, all right, on those $2 to $15 out of the money. If you trade an in the money option, you will get much better performance than I will get. Okay? You'll get way better performance than I will get from trading an out of the money options. You will probably get close to penny for penny performance, whereas I will not get that. I will probably get maybe a third of a cent, a quarter, maybe even a tenth of a cent for every dollar that price moves, where you will get penny for penny being in the money. But bear in mind, those in the money options cost more, okay? So you will pay up for those, okay? I'm only trading with, okay, 10% of my account. Okay, so I like to get a lot of contracts so I can, kind of scale in and scale out. All right, so that's why having just 1 or 2 contracts makes it difficult to scale in and scale out. Okay, I'm not very good at picking tops and bottoms, but I can scale in and scale out very easily. All right, so for that reason, I like the out of the money options. My favorite price point, okay, for me is contracts that are 30 cents per share, right on up to $1.20, $1.40 per share, or bucks per share. Okay, that's my favorites. All right, I can pretty much trade those and defend those and make money with those. Okay, any more than that, then they tend to get kind of pricey. All right, and it makes it difficult. I have to spread out my nets even further because they're just so pricey. I can't afford to get 20 up there at $2.50. All right, makes it very expensive for me, especially if I'm only trading 10% of my account. All right, means I'd have to give up some of my other winning positions or losing positions, or kind of positions that are just poised to make money. All we're doing is waiting for time. All right, so for that reason, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. If a 10-minute uptrend were to manifest down here long before the green erases red entry, I'm not opposed to trading that 10-minute uptrend. All right, as long as it breaks the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Okay, again, I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP, and let me just say I'm not a big fan of going counter trend. Okay, just going to say that right up front. Okay, especially in this bullish market. Remember, the weekly is in an uptrend and bullish. The monthly is in an uptrend and bullish. Okay, so I'm just not a big fan of going counter trend. But with trend, oh, I love to jump in a river of money and just get in and swim along and float along for the ride. Okay, so I like that. So if I 10-minute downtrend were to manifest up here, just gonna say I'm not opposed to trading it long before it gets to the red erases green entry. I would just like to see it break that 10-minute rubber band candle. Okay, that's kind of gotta make some rules. Okay, just can't take every 10-minute downtrend, but gotta have some rules there. Okay, so there's SPY. That's the game plan for SPY. QQQ's got a game plan as well. Let's go ahead and see what they got. All right, QQQ. Okay, again on QQQ, I like 7 days and 14 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5. Again, specifically for the open interest. All right, that would be the tight bid-ask spread, tighter anyways. Okay, I like strikes that are $2 to $15 out of the money. Again, they're cheaper, less risk, okay, because you're closer to zero, all right, than you are with an in-the-money contract that, let's say you got an in-the-money contract that costs, $3, okay? And, you get one of these, well, look at that. That's $6.20 to $6.15. You get one of these $5 10-minute candles or $5 15-minute candles, okay? Okay, if you've got 10 of those, all right, there goes $5,000 right there from 620 down to 615, in the matter of 15 minutes. Okay, that makes it tough. All right, seeing that. Okay, if you're on the wrong side of it, anyways. All right, if you're on the right side and you shorted it or you got puts, okay, you're a winner. Okay, but if you're on the wrong side, okay, there goes $5,000 of your capital right there. Okay, so for that reason, I trade the out of the money, okay, because they're less, they're closer to zero. I can only lose whatever I purchased them for all the way down to zero, okay? That's it. After that, that's it, okay? So there's QQQ, 15-minute, all right? Again, we've got green erases red over 613.50, okay? So I got to get up over, see those three candles right there, get up over those. All right, that's a green erases red entry. Pivot 610.45. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green entry underneath 607. All right. Again, I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. All right. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. And again, it's the same thing as SPY. I'm not opposed to trading 10-minute downtrends. I'm not a big fan of going counter trend. Remember, this is bullish as well. Okay, I trade 10-minute downtrends that happen to originate up here. I just like to see it break like a 10-minute bearish rubber band candle, okay? You got to have some rules, all right? You just can't take any 10-minute downtrend because it just might be a pullback in an uptrend, okay? So you got to be careful, okay? So I trade 10-minute downtrends, even if they manifest up here, long before they get to the red erases green entry, all right? And I take 10-minute uptrends if they happen to manifest here, 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 long before they get to the green erases red entry, okay? Long as they break that 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. Okay, so there's QQQ. All right, let's look at QQQ. Let's pick up a different one, and we'll look at the 10-minute chart. Okay, we had a little 10-minute uptrend, not much, but a little one right there. See a little daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8. Okay, a weak one candle, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. QQQ. Another one. Look at QQQ. Okay, little bullish bias going on here. Look at that. Gap up, never filled by the bears. Okay, so I got a little bullish bias. And we're up over the VWAP here. Okay, so a little bullish bias going on there because bears never filled the gap. All right, so I guess they're weak in this area. All right, that's what it's kind of showing me. All right, so there's 10-minute, weak 10-minute, one candle downtrend. Okay, on the 2-hour chart. Okay, we've got a weak 2-hour uptrend. Notice the 3 EMA is up over the 8 EMA. That's the 8. This is the white line right here. So weak 2-hour uptrend. Okay, lots of tails being shown right here. Okay, is this the all-time high? Yeah, this is the all-time high anchored VWAP. We are under it. I would like to see us on top of that. We may get there sometime today. We'll see. All right. A lot of tails showing up here too. Okay, so I think we climb up there today. Hopefully we hold the higher ground. We'll see what happens. Okay, on the daily candle, inside day, closing inside a bearish trap because the 3 is under the 8. That makes it a bearish trap. Closing inside the bearish trap. Okay, under, see the 17, that's the dots. See how the dots, if price is under the dot, it goes red. If it's over the dot, it goes green. Okay, so price is under the dot, so it's red. So under that flat 17 EMA right there. Okay, that's on the daily chart. Okay, we haven't made, there's a low. We haven't made any lower lows yet. Okay, so we're still in an uptrend. We're just going through a 6-candle pullback right now. Okay, we're in the middle of quadrant 4. Here's the April low. We're up here in the middle of quadrant 4, so we're still bullish and in an uptrend. Audio's breaking up. All right, let me refresh here. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. Chug along forward. Okay, so, all right, so QQQ. Bullish and in an uptrend right up here. Okay, weekly chart, same thing. See all the green dots? Bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, wow, a lot of green dots. Bullish and in an uptrend. Looking kind of toppy, but it's bullish and in an uptrend. All right, so there's QQQ. All right, let's go back to daily chart. All right, so let's go visit IWM. All right, IWM. All right, remember about 4 or 5 days ago, they made a new all-time high. Okay, so IWM, yesterday's candle, lower high, higher low. We closed under a bearish trap, but over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP. We should probably move that up to here. Okay, so now we're under the all-time high anchored VWAP, but we're still in the middle of quadrant 4. Okay, so that's bullish. Okay, we haven't made any lower lows. They'd have to break this low down here. So we're bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, on IWM. Okay, that's looking good. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow 5 days ago made a new all-time high. Let's move this up to there. Okay, yesterday's candle. Well, let's see what we got here. High is 484.79. High 484.63. So lower high, lower low. Closing under, I'm just going to call it a bearish cross. And over, see all the 17 green dots? Over the 17 EMA. We're up here at the top of quadrant 4. So that's bullish. It's our April low. So that's bullish and still in an uptrend. All right? That's Diamond Down. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. Now, this one's going to smell. All right, this one really stinks. Okay, so yesterday, higher low, lower high, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17 EMA. That's the red dots there. Okay, we're not in the upper third, so the upper third would be above this line here. We're not in the upper third, so we're just neutral. There's a low. We made a lower low. So neutral and in a downtrend. Okay, so that's not good because this is 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in QQQ and SPY. Okay, so that's really not good because when those 10 move as a pack, they can drag those indexes right along with them. All right, so not a good sign. Okay, not not connecting. Yeah, I think he's tried to refresh. All right, so underneath price, underneath all-time high anchored VWAP, right there, and we're underneath. This would be major support. Underneath the major support, and making a low. We got one more line left right here. Okay, if they break this, okay, close candles underneath there. All right, things could be falling apart real fast below that. Okay, so right about there. Okay, so we get below that line right there. Okay, things could really fall apart fast. All right, so there's FNGU. Not that they're not already kind of falling apart a little bit, but below that would be a horrible thing. I would think price is coming back down here to visit this area right here, and that would be the lower third. Okay, I think it would visit the top side of the lower third to see if it provides any support. Okay, so we'll see what happens. That's FNGU daily chart. Okay, in a downtrend. Okay, that's not good. All right, silver and gold. Silver. Okay, yesterday lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. See the rising 17. We're on the daily chart. Okay, top of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. Okay, here's the origination of that move back here in 2022, bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, nothing's broken. Okay, let's take a look at GLD. Same deal. Wait. Outside day for GLD. Higher high, lower low. Closing over a bullish trap. Over the 17. See the rising 17. See how it comes from under the purple line to over the purple line. Rising 17. Okay, over the bullish trap. Over the 17 EMA. Okay, up there at the top of quadrant 4. Looking ready to challenge the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay, and over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay, top of quadrant 4. This originates back here in 2022, right here, okay, all the way up here, okay, that is bullish and in an uptrend right there, okay, UNG, okay, UNG really having a tough week these last 2 weeks, okay. Outside day, higher high, lower low, closing at the bottom down here, closing under a bearish trap, under a falling 17. This is the all-time low. Look how close we are in proximity to the all-time low. All right. This is bearish at the bottom. Okay, so this is quadrant 4 way up here. This is quadrant 1, bearish and in a downtrend. Okay, underneath, see this purple line? That's the 2025 high anchored VWAP. If you want to see what nat gas was before it was split like 5,000 times, okay, so it was at one point valued way up here, $8,000 a share. Okay. So the fact that we gave it the 2025 high, all right, which happens to be only $24, okay? The fact that it can't get over that anchored VWAP is sad. Okay, that's really sad. All right, so, and we're ready to challenge those all-time low right there, okay? So that's UNG, okay? Bearish downtrend. All right. For you bottom pickers, keep an eye on this one. This one might be ready by the spring of 2026. USO. All right, USO got a inside day, lower high, higher low, closing under bearish trap underneath the 17. Not in the lower third, okay, almost. So neutral and still in a downtrend. Okay, see the low, got a lower low, downtrend. Okay, this is post-COVID high anchored VWAP, see 2022. This is our COVID recovery rally. Okay, so here's 2022. That's the high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so again, neutral and then a downtrend. Got a low, we made a lower low. All right, that's USO. Maybe by the spring of 2026, this might be ready. We'll see what happens. This one are having a tough last 3 years. Look at this. This is back in 2022, so all of 2023, all of 2024. Let's just face it, 2025 is just about over, so all of 2025 just having a really rough go of it there on USO. Okay, so let's take a look at technicals. T2101 market moved up yesterday, and the breadth moved up only a little bit, not enough. We need more than that. Okay, but it did squeak a little higher. All right, that's T2101, T21. That was 15. T210222. We spent the day in the buyer's chop zone. Okay, we made a lower high, but we made higher lows. So kind of an inside day, just like the SPY candle. Okay, inside day, lower highs, higher lows, banging around inside the buyer's chop zone. We did make an appearance inside the buy zone for a little bit, but the bears threw us out. We wound up closing and consolidating right here inside buyer's chop zone. Okay, so there's T2122, T2123. Okay, move up over to the right. That's bullish. That's very bullish. See the move up and hold that higher ground. Very bullish. Okay, and in it, see the high. We made a higher high, so we're still in an uptrend. Okay, still in an uptrend. Notice the low did not take out a low. All right, we did not make a lower low, so we're still bullish. Still in an uptrend over this rising 200 SMA. Yeah, I'm a bull, so I like that. I like to be on that side. Okay, so that's G2122, bullish on an uptrend. That's a 15-minute chart. 3-bar chart, okay? This is our 1/3 neckline, this green line right here. Okay, you can see we're kind of showing a bullish inverse head and shoulders right now. All right, T2123, there's a high. We made a higher high. That makes it an uptrend. On look, we're on the north side of the flat 200 SMA. Yeah, I'm a bull, so I like that one too. All right, we're up here in quadrant 4. Here's the April low back here. That's quadrant 1. Up here, quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, we like that. Okay, FNGU. Okay, not helping us right here. FNGU. So FNGU did gap up because that would be yesterday's close, the day before its close. And the bears never filled the gap. That's a good sign. And we got these little micro higher lows. See right here? One there, one there, one there. Notice how they climb up just a little bit. Okay, so this is looking a little better, but the bulls really need to come in and rescue this one. Okay, so we're on the underside of the falling 200, okay? Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. And you already know, I'm not a bear. So all in all, we're still in a downtrend. Well, we're in an uptrend, just barely, all right? Because see that high? We came down underneath and made the one right there. We made a higher high right there, other than this candle right there. So we just squeaked out an uptrend, all right? So it's really kind of consolidating in a bear flag. Move down and over to the right. We'll see what happens, but we're just consolidating here. Hopefully we go higher and not lower, but be prepared, all right? This is a big bear flag. Move down and over to the right. We could come down and test this area right here, okay? This is where we were before. So we'll see what happens. So a very weak uptrend. I'm going to call it that. More of bearish consolidation. That's FNGU. Okay, you can see we're under the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're under the falling 200 SMA. We've got a low. We've made lower lows. I mean, nothing is going right now for FNGU. Other than that bullish gap up yesterday, which could be erased probably within minutes. All right, but we'll see if the bulls are making a stand here. So there's FNGU. All right, let's go take a look at the economic package, wrap this up. All right, US dollar index. Okay, 2025 high. Okay, and then we get a downtrend, and then we consolidate into consolidation. So this is a bear flag right there. Okay, currently, okay, we got a double top here inside the bear flag. Okay, we got a low. We made a lower low, so we're in a downtrend on the daily time frame. Okay, downtrend on the daily time frame. Yesterday, we closed at the top of this little spinning top right here. So right about 98.45, 98.49. Okay, right there. We like a weak dollar. It makes our goods and services more affordable and more competitive in the global markets. Okay, remember, we're competing against every other nation that sells the same goods and services. Okay, so there's dollar in a downtrend on the daily chart. Earnings report. Okay, nothing big happening here. Nothing that's going to Paychex is going to report. Lamb Wesson. Okay, again, nothing here that's LW. Okay, nothing here that's going to move the markets. Just familiar names, but nothing that's going to be market moving. All right, so that's earnings. Let's hit Max Payne. Max Payne for today. Let me refresh it. Make sure it's right. 680. All right, for today. And a put to call ratio about 3.2 puts for each call. So a put squeeze is on the table. Not to mention Max Payne is 680. I think there's a high probability we go up to 680 or 679 sometime today. I think there's a very high probability. All right, so there's Max Payne. Let's visit the economic calendar. And we had CPI yesterday. Didn't look bad. Okay. Personal income and outlays are coming out at 10 o'clock. Okay. Could be a rip your face off rally at 10 o'clock. Okay. We have existing home sales at 10 and consumer sentiment at 10. So a lot of stuff coming out at 10 today before we go into the weekend, and a rig count at 1 o'clock. Okay. So that's it for me for today, traders. I will be back at like 9:20, 9:25, and we'll open up the markets, trade them live, and record them. By the way, if you're looking for recordings, okay, I record every single day I trade, just about. See the people, see the hamburger next to the people on the left. Click the hamburger, click the archives, click the recording. Okay, and you can see it. This is the 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th, 12th, 11th. See, every single day. I think just about every single day is recorded. I don't know how far it goes. I'm just going to go to the bottom, see what it looks like. Well, $8.27, $8.28, $8.29, $9.2. So you can see a lot of recordings there. Okay, so that's it if you were ever looking for the recordings. And if you're looking for members e-learning right here, okay, remember we had members e-learning yesterday. Okay, you go to resources, you log in, hit and run candlesticks, hit the resources. Okay, e-learning replay. There's yesterday's for Rick, yesterday for me, yesterday for Doug. Okay, right there under resources, e-learning replay. Okay, now there's like 330 pages here. Each page has 10 videos. Okay, all right, it's 334. It's 34 now. Okay, so there's 34 pages of 10s. That's 340 videos. Okay, and if that's not enough videos, 340 videos, roughly about an hour long. We've got more. And then we got public webinar replays. 10 on this page too. Okay. And there's 20 pages of those. Okay. So there's another 200 videos. Hours and hours of content for being a BYOB member or a member of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. So it's all there. All right. So that's it for me. See everybody soon, and we'll open up the market, see if we can make some money.